In this lesson, I'm going to be going over OptimizePress and how we can use it to build a squeeze page. Right here is an example of a squeeze page that I use to promote an ebook that I've written, Incredibly Powerful Marketing. And as you can see, it's a very simple page. You have a headline, you have a copy of the book or an image of the book. There's a lot to be said about providing a cover page for an ebook. People just feel like it's a better deal. Here I have the copy that goes with it, and then there's the opt-in form with a headline, subheadline, and then the button. So we're going to replicate this page so it looks exactly like this, and you can see exactly what it takes to build it, and you'll see that it's very straightforward. So I'm going to go over here. As you can see, this is just a WordPress site. I've installed the OptimizePress theme, which makes installation and using it pretty easy if you're already using WordPress. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a new page, and I'll name it just test squeeze page. And the thing that OptimizePress gives you is it gives you this whole pile of different templates that you can use, and there are sales type pages, and I'll be recording another lesson for that. And then a whole bunch of squeeze pages. In order to look like the one that I have there, it's templates for squeeze 9. And what I'll do is I'm just going to publish this. I'll save it. And okay, and then I'll just create another window that we can use to watch it. So here's this page. You can see that this is the standard button or opt-in. So let's get started. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to create the headline. And the one thing to keep in mind is down here in OptimizePress, you get these additional boxes beneath your edit box. And you have squeeze pages and launch page. It's really important that if you pick the squeeze page that you work with the squeeze page options, and you'll see that there's a headline. But a lot of times, and I still do this, you get confused and you start going in and adding headlines here, and then you wonder when you go and look at the page why the headline doesn't show up, and that's because you haven't been putting the headline in the box that's corresponding to the type of template that you're using. So we're going to go over here to headline, and I've got page over here with the copy, so I don't have to sit here and type it in. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the headline. I'm going to click on this button, and I'm going to enter it. And I'm just going to take the defaults because the default colors and the type of font are probably okay. So I'll update this, and you'll see that it puts it right there at the top. Looks very nice. It's centered. In order to make it look just like this, I'm going to pick the same Arial font. So I'll go down here to headline again, headline, and instead of impact, I'm going to pick the Arial font. And since I'm here, I'm going to go to the subheadlet, and I'll copy what we have in there. So for this one, we'll go like this. Let me see what kind of font. That looks like maybe an Arial narrow. No, that's going to have to be narrow. But I'll just use normal here. Let me update that. And we'll go and we'll do a refresh. And well, it looks like it's the same font, but it's a little bit too small. So I am going to just go in here to the subheadline. I'm going to grow it just a little bit. So I'm going to put in here, let me just try 28. And there you go. So it's not exactly the same, but it's close enough. And I guess my copy is just a little bit off from what we have here, but I'm not going to sweat it. Let's just keep on going. So the next thing I want to do is I'm going to insert an image. So I have that image of the book. I think I've already uploaded it as a media. So media library. So there's the book cover. I'm going to do a show here. And what I'll do is, let me just insert it. I don't want to have a link on it because I don't want it to be alive. So I'm just going to not have any alignment. I want it to be above the rest of the code, and I'll leave it the regular size. So I'm going to insert it in there. So there you have the book. I may want to center it in a little bit. So then what I'm going to do next is I'm going to grab all of this copy. And let's just save it so I can kind of get an idea of how this is looking. So there you have it. I guess that one has it just a little bit bigger and it's centered. So I'm going to go in here. I'll center it. Maybe make it just a little bit bigger. And okay, so I'll make that bold, and the nice thing about OptimizePress is it's got some nice defaults for something like you know, a list. So here's this, and we'll just separate this out. Yeah, I'm not getting this right the first time, but so this one here is going to be a bullet. This right here is going to be a bullet. So as you can tell, I'm just using the editor, you know, a very straightforward way. There's nothing particularly sophisticated about this part. And then I'll save it so that it looks something like the page that we had originally. And you see that it automatically will put this in here. There's a couple, you know, you can get red arrows and you can get green ones and check boxes and stuff. It really has a lot of features for formatting these so that they look really nice. So now let's complete this form. And so for that, we go down to this opt-in. And in the opt-in, it gives us, you know, we can put some arrows or some other things that we can put in there. But I'm just going to put in a headline. And what I'll do is I'll grab the headline from here. And then I do want, you always want to give some instructions about exactly what you want people to enter. So that's what this one's for. And a spam notice. I mean, most people will tell you that if you make a form have some privacy information, you know, that we're not going to share your data, it increases your opt-in rate. So I will refresh this. And as you can see, it's not looking exactly like this one. We can definitely modify the fonts and things. But what you're doing is you're putting the font, the copy, into this field in the opt-ins. And then you can modify it. You know, for example, this doesn't have to be that. We can make this black, for example, instead. We can make it, I don't know, let's just pick Georgia and modify the font. And so now you have something like that. So you have plenty of flexibility on playing around with that. Now the next thing I want to do is show you, and this is one of the really cool things about this, is you can drop in any autoresponder code in here and it will reverse engineer it for you. Okay, so we're going to head on over to Infusionsoft. I'll just log into my system here, and I'm going to go to Legacy. I'm going to go to the web forms, and I have a web form in here. It's this one here. So it's a very simple form. It's just got a name and a first name and an email address. So it's this one here. And I'm going to go over here to the publish, and I'm going to get the code. And I always grab the simplest one, the styled code. I guess you could pick it, but I always like to grab the simplest version. Do not pick the JavaScript snippet because OptimizePress isn't going to be able to do anything with it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy that, and I'm going to go back over here, and I'm just going to put it into this field here. So I'll paste it in here, and the minute I leave that field, you'll see it reverse engineers this, so it grabs the name field out of the form, the email field, and it creates it basically connects up this form here with the form over at Infusionsoft, so you make the connection. Then what we're going to do is it gives you a choice of selecting one of a whole bunch of different buttons that you can use. I'm just going to use the Download Now button, and then I'll go to the very bottom. I'll say Save Selected Image, and we'll save the page, and I'll go right here. And as soon as it refreshes, you see this button is here, and now the form is connected. So I'm going to come up and I'm going to just try the form out, and you'll see that when you select this, it is going to form, and I just have the thank you or the landing page for that be one of my sales pages, which is going to be part of the next lesson. So now you see that just with a little bit of learning of OptimizePress, we created a pretty nice looking squeeze page. Take care.